Are you struggling to find locations for HMOs that are going to work for you? Well, in this video, we're going to be looking at how to identify your multi-million pound location sweet spot for HMO investing. Let's get into it. In order to identify a location to invest in, which means you can scale a business to multi-million pounds, then we need to look at some key fundamentals. And there are three elements which we use when identifying where to start investing. And we call this the DNA of a next level HMO. So we call it next level HMOs because these are high quality properties in the top 5% of our marketplace. So we need to create good quality properties, a good quality product. So what are these three key elements? Well, the first one of DNA is D for demand. We must have so many people clamoring over themselves to want our particular product. Think about going to Glastonbury. To get a ticket in Glastonbury, you have to register in advance, you have to go down to a ticket drawer, and then you have to be there trying to get, at the very last minute, be the one to get through and be able to order those tickets. That is something which is massively oversubscribed. Your house, your HMO needs to fit that same brief. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we've got plenty of people that want it. So we need an area where the demand is a lot higher than the supply of good quality HMOs. So what we can do is look at websites like spareroom.co.uk or coho.life, and these websites are places where you can look at what rooms are available in each area. And you can look at, especially on Spare Room, the number of rooms available. You can also look at the number of people that have created an advert to look for rooms. So if we've got a really good ratio of people looking for rooms versus rooms available, that shows us that there is a strong demand. So our second element is N for numbers. So the numbers must stack. So what do I mean by this? Well, if we look at different areas around the country and we look at the purchase price of property versus the rent of property, you'll very quickly notice that purchase prices vary dramatically. There are places in the country where you can buy a house for £150,000, and there are places where you can buy a house for between £500,000 and £700,000. And the types of houses we're looking at are, your terraces, your semi-detached houses, maybe detached, but more likely the price point works more at that semi-detached and terraced house. So the price of housing across the country can vary dramatically, but the price of rent doesn't vary in the same way. So we're going to have rent, the average rent in the country is actually about £606 per month for an average room nationwide. If we exclude London, then that drops down to about 535 because London does skew those stats, which means if you've got a really good quality room, you're probably more than £535 per month wherever you are in the country. So probably closer to 550 up to 700, 800 pounds per month. So it's not as dramatic a difference as the difference in house prices. So we've got to get that ratio right to be able to get the most bang for our buck. So the numbers have got to stack. But the thing is that those things will be in flux. So house prices and rent will be in flux, as well as the third variable, which is the cost of doing any works to properties, which creates the ideal deal. We've got to get those numbers right. So the third part of the DNA of a next level HMO is A for area. Now I mean floor area in this example. So we're talking about large properties that have got space, that have got potential. We're not talking about pokey properties, 3-4 bed properties, because it's going to take a lot of those to build your multi-million pound portfolio. We're talking about larger properties that can have a much larger impact on your income and your future capital as well. So there are some areas in the country where the typical housing type, the housing stock, is quite small. So we have worked with clients in the past where they're determined to work in one particular town which has got great demand, which it does. The numbers didn't quite stack, but part of that was because the properties weren't big enough or didn't have the potential to become big enough to create enough of an income and enough of a capital appreciation. So when you're researching an area, look and go, how big is the typical housing stock, and can I rinse and repeat? Can I go and buy any house on average and turn it into the property that I want, or are they all far too small? Because then you'd just be banging your head against a brick wall whilst you're looking for the needle in a haystack. So those are the 3 top tips, the DNA of a Next Level HMO, which is going to really help you to build that multi-million-pound portfolio, to create that large income, which can help you to get out of whatever you're doing right now, your day job, your self-employed job, and do it as quickly as possible through investing. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you heard, please click the like button down below, the subscribe button, wherever it is. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.